It is 7 o'clock. Good morning. You're watching BT Vancouver. Thanks for being with us. It's already heartbreaking and impossible to comprehend, but the death toll from the Nova Scotia shooting rampage is expected to rise. At least 19 people are confirmed dead. Police say there are 16 crime scenes to investigate, including burned out buildings. It's believed more victims may be found there. The killing spree spread across northern and central Nova Scotia is the deadliest in Canada's history.
We have had 5 structure fires, most of those being residences, and we believe there may be victims still within the remains of those homes.
The motive is still being looked into. Police say it may be difficult to determine, with the suspected shooter also dead. A virtual memorial for the victims is planned for Friday. And the country is now remembering the lives lost, including veteran RCMP Constable Heidi Stevenson, who Prime Minister Justin Trudeau paid tribute to.
Constable Stevenson died protecting others. She was answering the call of duty, something she had done every day when she went to work for 23 years.
Victims identified so far include a nurse, an elementary school teacher, a 2-time cancer survivor, a retired firefighter, and a young family of 3.
I'm just glad that they've died together in the worst situation possible. If they were separate and alone, that would hurt more. And I feel for the other families. I'm really trying to work through that because there's 19 people, including my sister, my niece, and my brother-in-law. They're all dearly loved.
It is 7:02 now. BC has 52 new reported cases of COVID-19, bringing our total to 1,069. Those numbers are from Saturday to Monday and include another 5 deaths. Just over 100 people remain in hospital, 49 in critical care. 7 workers returning to BC from an oil sands project in Alberta have tested positive.
And right now, I am ordering anybody who has been in the Coral Lake project since March 15th and has returned to British Columbia that they must self-isolate for 14 days after their return. For many people, this will mean their return was over 14 days ago. If they had symptoms during that period of time or they continue to have symptoms, we want you to connect with 811 and tell us about that.
Henry said outbreaks remain at 20 long-term care or assisted living facilities in the province. She says health and safety restrictions will likely not be lifted for large events this summer. Meantime, testing for this virus is being expanded.
So right now, anyone with symptoms of COVID-19 can now be assessed and tested either through your family physician, if you have, your nurse practitioner, or a local community collection center. And you can call 811 to find out where those are. While everyone can get tested, not everyone needs to get tested, and that's very important. If you do not have symptoms, this test has very limited benefit and is not necessarily valid.
7:04 now. BC's real estate market is about to get hit by the coronavirus. A BC Real Estate Association report expects home sales to drop by as much as 40% for April. The market will likely remain depressed into summer. It expects once health measures are gradually lifted, low interest rates and pent-up demand will lead to a solid recovery in home sales and prices. The report says history shows the housing market bounces back after recessions. TransLink is temporarily laying off close to 1,500 employees and further suspending services this week. It will also reduce senior executive salaries and board member pay by 10% and defer major road projects and service expansions. TransLink says it's losing $75 million per month, with ridership down by 83% because of COVID-19. To make ends meet, the transit system will use capital reserves until the end of the year.
We do expect employees to be recalled for September. That's our objective at the moment. We have to see, of course, what happens between now and September, and we'll, of course, work with our provincial partners on funding mixes and ensuring that we can have an appropriate level of funding. We are going to be drawing down significantly on the cash reserves over coming months, but we need to ensure that when we come out of this, we still have a transit system that has been preserved.
It's one of the most anticipated events of the summer in Vancouver, bringing hundreds of thousands of people to the West End and Kitsilano. But this year's celebration of light will not be going ahead. Organizers say comments made by health authorities this weekend indicate we must now accept the reality the largest public event in our province will not happen in July. They're now exploring options for a different type of celebration in 2020 and are hoping to make an announcement very soon. This would have been the 30th anniversary of the Celebration of Light in Vancouver. Despite protests against COVID-19 restrictions popping up across the U.S., BC's Premier says he's confident British Columbians will continue to follow protection orders. John Horgan says when it comes to what's happening south of the border, he's looking to Washington and other coastal states, not Washington, D.C. That includes keeping restrictions as they are until mid-May at the earliest.
I'm confident that the public, the vast majority of the public, are with us on that, and I credit the leadership of Minister Dix and Dr. Henry in giving a sense of confidence that we are acting based on science. We're not going on hunches. We're not going on pressure from a particular stakeholder. We're looking at the science. We're making decisions in the best interests of all British Columbians, and we're currently seeing high levels of support for that.
Horgan says he spoke with Washington State's governor on Monday night, and they are on the same page when it comes to COVID-19. With all the warnings about social distancing, are we really doing our part? Isabelle Regam puts some Vancouverites to the test.
We've heard it over and over again. Stay home, and if you do go out, stay at least 2 meters apart. But when we do go out in public and we're given that space, are we using it?
Yes, I think that people are really awesome about it.
I think for the most part, people are pretty good.
We're putting Vancouverites to the test right here in False Creek near the Science World with the help of this measuring tape and duct tape. So I'm going to start with the measuring tape here just so I have some space to stand. I'm going to calculate a distance from this spot where I'll be standing, making a fake phone call, and I'll use a small piece of tape to mark 2 meters or 6 feet away. Put this one at the halfway mark just so we have an idea what 1 meter or 3 feet is. And we'll see just how many people stay at least this far from me. That was the closest I've seen. Oh, 1.5.
Into the group and
1.5. Oh, that was nice. She definitely stepped out of the way.
Today is actually like quite
better
than what I usually see.
Yeah.
I'm going to test out seeing if now I try to politely ask people to stay away if they do come within 6 feet, and we'll see their reaction to that. Excuse me, do you guys just mind respecting the 6 feet?
Oh,
yeah, that's the 6 feet.
Respect, I see. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Narcissism is on the rise.
Pardon me?
Yeah, you're very articulate, verbal about not being narcissistic.
Oh, he just called me a narcissist. Sorry, do you mind just keeping, that's 6 feet. Thank you. Sorry guys, do you mind just stay, that's 6 feet. Thank you. So my takeaways here are most people aren't paying too much attention to distance. If they are, it's about on average 1.5 meters away. And if you do decide to say something and ask someone to stay back, be prepared for some possible pushback. In Vancouver, Isabelle Regem, City News.
Wow, what a clever little experiment. I have to say, though, I have been pretty impressed with people keeping their distance here in Vancouver.
Have you been grocery shopping lately, Mary?
No, I make my boyfriend do that.
Yeah. customer move. That's a tricky one because you enter the store, you know, in formation with enough of a gap between all the customers, but you get in there and it's kind of a free-for-all at that point, and you're kind of standing back and trying to give space, and it's definitely quite the new social experiment that we're all adjusting to here. And